everyone, here's the Book Chemist once again. Today I'm reviewing The Anomaly by Hervé Le Tellier. I must confess, I was on the fence whether I would film a review about this book at all, but I must say I'm quite curious to hear your opinion on it. I know that it was quite popular. It still is. It won the 2020 Goncourt Prize in France. It's quite a bestseller. What did you make of it? As way of an introduction for people who are maybe not familiar with it, The Anomaly is a book that weaves together the lives of desperate characters who are very different from one another. We go from writers to architects pining for their younger lovers, to murderers, serial killers, and the thing that connects all these people is that they were all on board the same Paris to New York flight that experienced terrible turbulence over the Atlantic. The way these various lives are brought together reminded me a bit of The Overstory by Richard Powers, which also brings together a cast of characters living very different lives and shows how these different lives, their experiences, their conditions, create different outlooks on the world, shape their views, shape their understanding of their experience, their reality. It's one of the basic functions of the novel, really, to show us how we are different from one another at the same time as it also shows the things we have in common and highlights our shared humanity. However, The Anomaly is not just a slice of life choral novel of this type. It's very much a work of quirky, light science fiction that plays with the idea of simulation theory, the idea that we might all just be programs in a massive simulation, and uses this idea to talk about matters of belief, especially. It reminded me a bit of the works of another French author, Laurent Binet, who also uses these quirky, lightly speculative elements to create these elaborate plots where he just lets these elements loose and sees what happens, if you will. The Seventh Function of Language would be quite an entertaining novel by him. There's a strong metafictional element in The Anomaly. There's a writer in here who writes a book called The Anomaly, and another writer then writes a book that reads very much like the one you are reading in your hand, and obviously there's the ending, for those of you who've read the ending. And I guess when you have characters debating simulation theory and the fact that might all be simulation, that's quite funny because obviously they are. We know that they are fictional creations, and that provides another quirky way to look at their conversations. All these speculative, all these metafictional elements are stimulating. They're quite fun, quite amusing, in almost a Douglas Adamsy sort of way. It's maybe a book that strikes the midway point between The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Calvino's Cosmic Comics. It strikes me as the kind of book my friends who are scientists, who work in the hard sciences, would enjoy. It's right up their alley, I'm sure. I enjoyed it. I think it's a highly enjoyable novel. In that sense, I would recommend it quite widely because I suspect most of you will probably enjoy it. But I maybe wasn't blown away. I thought that its science fictional premise felt a little bit boilerplate, and that while there were a lot of brilliant insights on life, on love, on relationships, on the way people's lives might play differently if only they play their cards slightly differently at key moments in their lives. While some of those insights were beautiful, the character arches, more broadly speaking, maybe were a little trite. However, I know that the novel has tons of fans out there. It clearly, it won the Goncourt. It's clearly highly acclaimed. And I'd be curious to hear from you whether you thought it was a great work of fiction, whether you enjoyed it in moderation, maybe like myself, or if you straight up didn't like it. And if there are scientists among you, did you like it? Because I think you will like this this book. I don't know why I have this feeling. Look forward to hearing from you. Let me know in the comments. And I look forward especially to hear from people who might have read the book in the original. I struggle to assess the quality of the writing necessarily in the English translation because there's always a little bit of a gap. Reading it in translation, especially in a language that maybe has a slightly different structure, I wonder if I maybe lost part of what makes it brilliant, even perhaps some of the playfulness of the language that lends it brilliancy, lends it value in the original, in the French. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for watching the review. Bye, everybody.